you know, I've been thinking a lot lately about something so many of us quietly wonder as we get older. How do I hold on to that spark, that feeling of vitality, without chasing after quick fixes or risky shortcuts? Maybe you've heard whispers about a certain anti-aging pill some seniors are trying, something that's not even meant for aging at all. Maybe a friend mentioned it at Bridge Club or you saw it pop up online, and you're sitting there thinking, is this safe? Could it work for me? Well, today we're going to have an honest, no-nonsense conversation about this little secret that's been making the rounds. I want you to feel informed, empowered, and, most importantly, safe. Because here's the thing, getting older doesn't mean we stop wanting to feel our best, but it does mean we've got to be a little wiser about the choices we make. Now, let's start by naming the elephant in the room. This miracle drug isn't some fancy new invention. In fact, it's a medication that's been around for decades, originally designed for a completely different purpose. I'm talking about metformin, a common diabetes drug. Surprised? You're not alone. Over the past few years, more and more people without diabetes have started taking it off-label in hopes of slowing down aging. The theory is that it might help with everything from boosting energy to preventing chronic diseases. Sounds tempting, doesn't it? But here's where we need to pause. Just because something can be used doesn't mean it should, at least not without careful thought. Let's break this down. First, why are seniors turning to metformin? Well, some studies suggest it could reduce inflammation and improve cellular health, two big players in aging. I've even heard stories from folks who swear it's given them more stamina for gardening, traveling, or keeping up with grandkids. But here's the catch. Those studies are still early, and most weren't done on healthy seniors. Metformin wasn't designed for aging. It was designed to manage blood sugar. And that brings us to our second point, safety. Every medication has side effects, and metformin's no exception. For some, it can cause digestive issues, think nausea or diarrhea. For others, especially those with kidney concerns, it might do more harm than good. Now, I'm not here to scare you. If your doctors prescribe this for diabetes, that's one thing. But self-prescribing? That's a gamble. Our bodies process medications differently as we age, and what works for your neighbor could backfire for you. But let's not stop there. Because here's what really matters. Are there safer, more natural ways to support your body as you age? Absolutely. And that's exactly what we'll explore in a moment. But before we do, I want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know tried metformin for anti-aging? Drop a comment below. Let's get this conversation going. Your experience could help others make smarter choices. Now, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, take a deep breath. Knowledge is power, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap, whether that means talking to your doctor, exploring alternatives, or simply feeling reassured. Stick around, because later on, I'll share a surprising, drug-free habit that's been shown to slow aging at the cellular level. It's something you can start doing tonight, and it costs nothing. But first, let's dig into the science behind metformin and aging. Why are researchers even looking at this? And what do the experts say about the risks for seniors? So, let's talk about why metformin's even on the radar for anti-aging. It all started with some fascinating research, mostly in animals like worms and mice, where scientists noticed something interesting. When they gave metformin to these creatures, they didn't just live longer, they lived better. More energy, fewer age-related diseases, even healthier cells. Now, that's exciting, right? But, and this is a big but, we're not worms or mice. Human studies are still in their early days, and most of the data we have comes from folks with diabetes. For them, metformin's been a game changer, not just for blood sugar, but possibly reducing risks for heart disease and even some cancers. But here's the kicker. If you're not diabetic, the picture gets fuzzy. Some experts say, hey, Maybe there's potential here, while others warn, pump the brakes, we don't know enough yet. And that's the tricky part, isn't it? When you hear a story about a friend's cousin who started taking metformin and suddenly feels 20 years younger, it's easy to think, why not me? But here's what I've learned from talking to doctors. Aging isn't a single problem with a single pill solution. It's complicated. Our bodies are these incredible, intricate systems, and tinkering with one piece, like blood sugar, might have ripple effects we don't fully understand. One retired nurse I spoke to put it perfectly. Medications are like guests at a party. Some get along with everyone, others, well, they start rearranging the furniture when you're not looking. Now, I'm not saying metformin's the enemy. For the right person, under a doctor's watch, it could be helpful. But here's what keeps me up at night. A lot of seniors are ordering this online or sharing prescriptions with friends. No blood work, no monitoring, no real plan. And that's where things can go sideways. Our kidneys and liver aren't as spry as they used to be, right? Metformin's cleared through the kidneys. So if yours aren't in tip-top shape, and many seniors aren't, even if they feel fine, it can build up and cause problems. Plus, it can interfere with vitamin B12 absorption over time, which is crucial for nerve health and energy. Who knew, huh? But let's shift gears for a minute, because what I really want to talk about is hope. The reason this conversation's happening isn't because people are reckless. It's because they're hungry for ways to feel vibrant and capable as they age. And guess what? There are ways to do that, ways that don't come in a pill bottle. Let's start with something we all have control over, what's on our plates. You've heard it before, but it's worth repeating. Food is medicine. Food's rich in antioxidants, like berries, dark leafy greens, even a square of dark chocolate, fight inflammation, which is a huge driver of aging. And omega-3s, found in fatty fish or walnuts, they're like little bodyguards for your cells. But here's a tip you might not hear as often. Timing matters. Intermittent fasting, giving your body a break from digesting, has shown promise in boosting cellular repair. Now, don't worry, I'm not talking about starving yourself. Something as simple as finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and not eating until breakfast can make a difference. My neighbor Ethel swears by this. She's 78, walks 3 miles a day, and says fasting gave her back the energy she thought she'd lost forever. And speaking of movement, let's get real about exercise. You don't need to run marathons or lift heavy weights. In fact, too much intense exercise can backfire as we age. But gentle, consistent movement, that's gold. Tai Chi, water aerobics, even just marching in place during TV commercials, it all adds up. The key is to find something you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like a chore. Remember, we're not trying to turn back the clock. We're trying to honor the clock by keeping it ticking smoothly. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something. What's your secret weapon for staying vibrant? Maybe it's a grandchild who keeps you on your toes, a morning walk with your dog, or a hobby that lights you up. Share it in the comments. Inspire someone today. And if you're finding this helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. It lets me know you want more honest chats like this, and it helps others find this community too. All right, back to the good stuff. Let's talk about something we often overlook, stress. Chronic stress ages us faster than just about anything else. It shortens our telomeres, those little caps on our DNA that protect our cells, and wreaks havoc on our immune system. But here's the good news. Managing stress doesn't require a fancy app or hours of meditation. It can be as simple as breathing deeply for 5 minutes a day, calling a friend who makes you laugh, or even tending to a plant. My friend Lou started growing tomatoes last year, and he says it's his therapy. Plus, he gets the sweetest cherry tomatoes. Win-win! Now, here's where things get really interesting. There's one daily habit, free, simple, and backed by loads of science. That could be the closest thing we've got to a fountain of youth. And I'll tell you all about it in a bit. But first, let's talk about why sleep isn't just for the lazy, Let's talk about sleep, the real unsung hero of aging gracefully. You know, I used to wear my ability to get by on 5 hours like a badge of honor. But here's what I've learned. Sleep isn't just about rest. It's when your body repairs cells, clears out toxins, and even balances hormones. Think of it like a nightly tune-up for your entire system. And here's the kicker. Studies show that poor sleep can age your brain and body faster. So if you're skimping on shut-eye to binge watch your favorite show, I get it, but let's rethink that. Now, you don't need to aim for perfection. Even small tweaks can make a difference. Try keeping a consistent bedtime. Yes, even on weekends. Dim the lights an hour before bed and maybe swap that late-night coffee for herbal tea. My buddy Frank swears by reading a physical book, not a screen, for 20 minutes before bed. He says it's like a switch that tells his body it's time to unwind. And if you're dealing with aches that keep you up, a warm bath or a magnesium supplement might help. Just check with your doc first. But here's something we don't talk about enough. Loneliness ages us, seriously. Feeling connected, whether it's to family, friends, or even a community group, can boost your immune system, sharpen your mind, and add years to your life. You don't need a packed social calendar. Even a weekly phone call with an old friend or joining a gardening club can work wonders. My Aunt Margie started volunteering at the library once a week, and she says it's given her a reason to get dressed up and laugh again. Better than any pill, she tells me. So, let's tie this all together. We've talked about the risks and unknowns of metformin, and we've explored safer, natural ways to feel your best. Nourishing foods, gentle movement, stress relief, quality sleep, and staying connected. None of these are magic bullets, but together, they're powerful. Aging isn't about fighting time. It's about living in harmony with it. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. You have more control than you think. Small, consistent choices add up. Maybe it's adding a handful of blueberries to your breakfast, taking a sunset stroll, or finally calling that friend you've been missing. And if you're still curious about metformin, talk to your doctor. Ask the hard questions. Your health is worth that conversation. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What's one small change you'll try this week? Share it below. You might inspire someone else to take that first step. And if you've found this helpful, do me a kindness. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone you care about. It helps us keep these conversations going, and honestly, it makes my day. Remember, friends, getting older is a privilege denied to so many. Let's embrace it with grace, curiosity, and maybe a little defiance. Here's to waking up each day feeling a little more you. Thanks for being here. Now go out there and live it up.